Have you all been wondering what happened to Sharina Hudson now that she is no longer surviving on Wendy Williams' money? Well, word on the street is that just like Kevin Hunter, Sharina is suffering because obviously Kevin cannot afford to give her the baby girl treatment he was giving her using Wendy's money.
Welcome to Hot Topics, Sharina Hudson. Getting out of my car with my money.
Now we all know that if there is one person who was a pain in Wendy's behind for years, it was her ex-husband's mistress Sharina. Well, Wendy had said that she knew her ex was a serial cheater and claimed she knew about his affairs almost from the beginning.
I've known about her almost since the beginning. I've known that Kevin is a serial.
Another thing that definitely hurt Wendy was that Kevin took Sharina through school to be a massage therapist with her money. And when that didn't work out, he opened a kiosk for her at a mall in North Carolina where she's from with her money next. He even helped her set up a jewelry and clothing line online called Vish. At one point, Sharina was also a realtor, and she listed the location of her company at her Morristown residence, which is the same house Kevin purchased for Sharina to live in using Wendy's money sometime in 2021. Sharina also opened a vegan company, financed of course with Wendy's money, and started making vegan pancakes in the kitchen that Wendy also paid for baby. Even after Wendy and Kevin got divorced, she was still the one supporting not just Kevin, but also Sharina and their daughter.
She was one of these, less than smart women who moved to the big city with bright lights, and she wanted to be a model. And so you know how the girls with the sparkler champagne bottles at the club, they get people to spend more money. They dress scantily clad and things. I don't know how they're raising the daughter Journey, who's almost 2 years. I think she's 2, like next month or something.
Wow.
That's not my problem. I
No,
know
it
that
sure
my
isn't.
child, my alimony for all 3 of them is on time every.
Of course, we all know that at some point, Wendy could no longer pay alimony. And Kevin even took her to court, claiming that his monthly payments, which were made by Wendy as agreed to win their divorce, suddenly stopped in February 2022. He actually had the audacity to ask the court to order Wendy's guardian to make payments as contractually required, because he was fully dependent on the payments. Now, when his court request was not honored, Kevin was back in court again after a few months demanding that Wendy's guardian resume his alimony. And in the court documents, he said on December 8, 2022, "I attended mediation with Wendy's counsel and Wendy's New York court appointed guardian attorney Sharina Hudson. In that mediation, Wendy's counsel and guardian agreed to provide statements to accounts and bank records they claimed to have gotten permission from the New York court to provide." He then said that despite supposed assurances from Wendy's guardian and her attorney that they would provide him with Wendy's bank records, they never materialized. So by December 19th, after reportedly failing to get any further correspondence from Wendy's team, Kevin said he emailed the mediator and copied all parties addressing lack of transparency, bad faith in their lack of honesty and mediation. Basically, he was demanding to see all financial records plus continuation of his alimony. But according to the countersuit Sharina filed, she said that Kevin was the one who owed Wendy money in the court filing. Sharina claimed that the payments to Kevin were to end if Wendy's yearly earned income was less than 2 times her yearly income. As of February 1st, 2020, the guardian then said that Wendy, who had not shown up to host the Wendy Williams show for the entire last season, stopped being paid her full salary in October of 2021. But Kevin continued to be paid his alimony, according to Sharina. As a result, Kevin had been unjustly enriched by the receipt of $112,500. The monthly payment was $37,500, so multiply that by 3 months, and it's $12,500, $100. And Sharina wanted Kevin to pay back the money plus interest. In addition, the guardian was also asking that the judge place a gag order on Kevin because he had been running his mouth a lot about the case, Sharina said in court. Documents, "I request that the court increase the protection of this case and issue a gag order, thereby instructing Mr. Hunter not to speak to the press or others except for legal advisors about these matters, and to instruct anyone with whom he has previously discussed these matters that they should not communicate about these matters with anyone else." Baby, with all the money gone and the various lawsuits Kevin was getting left, right, and center, I wasn't surprised when reports started making rounds saying that Sharina was leaving Kevin. We even had reports saying that Sharina had taken Kevin to court for child support because he was not paying up. Maybe Kev told Sharina that he had a plan to get Wendy to continue the alimony because just before he took Wendy back to court, Kevin announced on Instagram that he was married to his longtime side piece, Sharina. He paid tribute to Sharina for her birthday and described her as his wife in all caps, with 2 red exclamation points in his post. Well, they've been kind of Mia since the request was denied again. But apparently they are still suffering without Wendy's money. As for Wendy, The last we heard of her was after her documentary, which addressed some of her issues, including scenes of Wendy needing assistance, even just to walk. And she has also shown needing breaks on set to sit down and help to stand at one point when a producer asks if Wendy has seen a neurologist.
See a neurologist?
To find out if I'm crazy?
The documentary also addressed how Wendy was placed under guardianship with a family member, saying that she was put in front of a judge and given a guardian when her personal ailments became too much. She was put in front of a judge and given a guardian. That was when they took her away from us. Speaking of Wendy being taken away from her family, Wanda Finney, Wendy's sister, and Alex Finney, her niece, told People magazine that they don't know where she was being treated. They didn't know what kind of treatments were taking place, and they couldn't contact her directly. They only heard from Wendy if she called. Wanda was even quoted saying, "The people who love her cannot see her, I think. The big question is, how the hell did we get here?" The family members also said they blamed the lack of communication on Wendy's guardian. And according to the family, Sabrina is the only one with full access to Wendy Williams. Alex Finney also appeared on The View and gave more insight on what was really happening behind the scenes with the guardianship. Based on what Alex said again, the family had no say on the guardianship. They had no way of communicating with Wendy about what was happening in the family, including her father being sick, and most times it took up to months for the guardian to get back to them with any sort of information.
You were put in front of a judge and given a guardian. That was when they took her away from us.
And there was just this wall that went down, and the family was blocked out. It was in April of 2022, and the contact from that point on has been so limited.
When I was in New York and staying with Wendy in the summer, I noticed when she would call, she had no access to her money, so every time she had to do anything that she had to pay for, she had to go through the...
Riga also accused Sabrina of delaying her response and reaction time if she would respond at all. And she went on to explain that when Wendy would order her breakfast early in the morning, Sabrina would take the order, but sometimes it wouldn't show up until several hours later. In addition to all these, we also found out that Wendy is actually broke. "I have no money, and I'm going to tell you something. If it happens to me, it could happen to you." In fact, the feds hit Wendy with a lawsuit claiming that she owes them over $500,000 for federal taxes. Between 2019 and 2021, records stated that the lien was approved in January of this year and was recorded with the New York City Department of Finance at the beginning of February. As a result, her things had to be cleared out from her apartment, and in photos taken of the luxury building, the apartment owned by Wendy was captured, having been fully cleared out. So as it seems, Sharina and Kevin are still not getting a dime from Wendy. And if the rumor mill is anything to go by, they are struggling well. There are a lot of people saying that Sharina is on her way out because she's tired of pretending that she loves Kevin and pretending that it was never about the money. But what do you think is happening with Sharina now that she can no longer live off of Wendy? Are you here for all the karma that has been hitting both her and Kevin? Sound off in the comments section below.
I've known about her almost since the beginning. I've known that Kevin is a serial...
Another thing that definitely hurt Wendy was that Kevin took Sharina through school to be a massage therapist with her money. And when that didn't work out, he opened a kiosk for her at a mall in North Carolina, where she's from, with her money. Next, he even helped her set up a jewelry and clothing line online called Vish. At one point, Sharina was also a realtor, and she listed the location of her company at her Morristown residence, which is the same house Kevin purchased for Sharina to live in using Wendy's money sometime in 2021. Sharina also opened a vegan company, financed of course with Wendy's money, and started making vegan pancakes in the kitchen that Wendy also paid for. Baby, even after Wendy and Kevin got divorced, she was still the one supporting not just Kevin, but also Sharina and their daughter.